I'm Jenna.
And I'm Stephanie.
And you are listening to Pastors' Wives Tell All,
a podcast by pastors' wives for church leaders and anyone desiring to take a peek inside our glass house.
We are breaking down walls and crushing pastors' wives stereotypes within the church.
We want pastors' wives and other ministry leaders to know that they are not alone in this. Plus, this is basically therapy for the three of us with a whole lot of dance parties. Woo, Hey friends, welcome back to Pastors' Wives Tell All. We're so glad you are joining us today. We are talking about us and our friendship.
And honestly, we haven't talked just the three of us in a while because we've had guests on the show. We did a whole month of friendship with our friends, which we're referring back to for a reason, right?
We sure
That's
are.
right.
We had a lovely month of all things friendship within the church and also just in general with Catherine. That is all of our friends. She's only one person.
All of our friend? It feels weird.
It feels weird. Catherine is friends with all of us.
She is.
Yes.
There we go.
And she's outside of our churches.
She
Yes.
is. She is outside. So make sure to go back and listen to that month of episodes. But we wanted to just share with y'all because a lot of you ask, and we haven't done a friendship episode in probably over a year. So
it's been a while.
a lot of new things have happened. These girls. Oof.
Friendship is
Tell
hard,
you what,
man.
y'all know how hard it is to put up with these two, especially this one right here. I'm just kidding.
She's a little scary.
If you're on YouTube, you need to be watching because there's some faces that are happening. So anyways, I mean, we really haven't even talked about what we're going to talk about on this podcast, just to be,
So true.
real. Because let's start with
We were just gonna
confessions.
hop
You're
on.
welcome. We're going to hop on. Okay. So I think one of the things that we should talk about is just communication. Let's talk about communication and how that looks with the three of us and separately, because we're all different in our friendships. Stephanie and I have friendship. Jen and I have friendship. You know, you get the picture.
Yeah.
And then all together, we are friends and best friends as well. So I think like just communicating with each other and how to be honest and real.
I can think of how I did this wrong in the past, which could then lead into how we do it better.
Okay.
So I feel like a lot of women maybe are like this too, where you have a thought, maybe it's a negative thought, or you're upset about something. You're like, well, I'm just going to let that go. And we're just going to swipe it to the side. And I get that that's a thing that for small things, of course, but there could be something that maybe bothers you more than once and it keeps happening. If you don't say anything, that festers. And eventually you're going to end up blowing up over something silly or something that could have been avoided. Where if you had sat down and talked it out. And we have to be like willing to talk, but we also have to be willing to receive when someone else comes to us with a problem. Because it's real easy to get like, I'm not the problem, you're the problem.
Right.
But to really sit with that and go, well, maybe I am the problem in this scenario. Or if I'm not, like, let's talk that through.
Right.
And I think in the past that has not been a good thing for me. Like, I've not done that well, but I think in this friendship, I am trying to receive any criticism or constructive criticism and then also be open to like sharing my feelings. Cause I haven't always done well with that in the past, you know?
I definitely agree with that a lot. Like not just with you, but just in general. I think communication, when we have an issue, I feel like there's some times that I'm like, okay, I can handle this myself, or go, okay, Jessica, like there's no reason to bring this up. But then there's other times where I'm like, this is like heavy on my heart. And I feel like if I don't say something, I'm gonna, maybe harbor it a little bit longer than I should. So I think that we've definitely grown in that area a whole lot of being able to share. I mean, we had a time, well, when was it? Before our retreat last year that we actually went together to counseling. For just one session. And so I think like with that, I think that we push for counseling for individual, for couples, but I mean, let's push it for friendship. And nothing was wrong with our friendship. Like it was going to die and it was going to go and it was our last ditch effort. It was just like there was something in our lives we couldn't come to an agreement. Right. And it was Jenna's idea to like say, okay, let's just get some outside help with that, which I think was really good because I think everything that the counselor said, there was each something that we could work on or, and help and here. So I don't know, like, I think it's so important to invest like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And as we were listening to this counselor, it made me think about even biblically how if you have a problem with someone, you go to that person. And then if you can't work that out or you're seeing that there's a struggle or a problem, like you bring in someone else. It's almost like Matthew 18, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So I love like what we talk about doing within our churches. We also do in our friendship,
Yeah.
which is healthy and it's good. And if we see a problem, we call it out. And if, you know, maybe someone else isn't seeing or they're not seeing our perspective or like we need help, we bring in that outside resource that we trust, that all three of us trust. And we did it that way. Like, I don't know. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
And I know Jenna poo, you were all for counseling.
I am.
You are. And you are the one that came up with that idea, like Jessica said. And it happens to be the counselor that works with all our families. And you were like, well, why aren't we just using her? And I was like, you're so smart.
Well,
You're so smart,
I mean,
Jenna.
I mean, I'm smart, but like, I just thought,
yeah, I know.
it is really cool though that she knows all of our families because I mean, when she knows the full dynamic, it probably helps her out as a therapist to be able to see all the sides and, you know, see the family dynamics and all the things. So I just love and appreciate her so much. But yeah, I think therapy is amazing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard to see outside of your situation. And, you know, we are all three very different. And so just to bring in somebody who could hear all the sides and then just bring a different perspective to it was huge for me.
Right.
So yeah, I love it.
And I don't think that means everybody's got to go to therapy together with their friends.
No.
It just happens that we also run a business together.
Yeah.
And so, and a ministry together, which is another thing added onto the friendship. So yeah, communication is so key.
And I think it's that important, like that we invest in that. For
Yeah,
sure.
important because I mean, I think all three of us know that what we have is so special. And we've said this before, but like the enemy would love to destroy this. And so I think what was happening with us was just growing pains. Like we just had questions about the future and what it was going to look like moving forward. And so I think that the enemy could have used that for evil, but we were like, nope, we're going to go see a therapist. We're going to have an outside source, you know, weigh in. And I think that was huge for us moving forward because we ain't going to let him win.
And I think like having open hands, that made me think of this. So like with this ministry, we have open hands, like Lord, whatever you want. But with your friendships, you have to have open hands. You have to say like, okay, Lord, where is this going? Is this friendship for a season? Is this for now? Otherwise, the enemy could creep in and destroy because of course he wants to destroy our relationships.
Yeah, for sure.
He wants us to feel alone. He wants us to feel like we're the only one with these problems that we have and that nobody else would understand. He wants us to hibernate away.
Yeah.
Like a bear.
Yeah.
Like a bear.
Like a lonely bear in the winter.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's really cool and it's a blessing. And for those listening out in the world,
In the world.
I think it's also really cool if you are married to find couples that are married. And I think that really is a neat aspect to our friendship that our husbands, they're all different, but they get along in their own ways. And sometimes like two of them will hang out and one of them won't, and they don't care. It's so nice. There's no drama with them. Or they'll go hang out. Or when we went on retreat, they hung out together and laughed and just had fun. And there's no pressure there, but I think that really does help. I think there's a lot of women out there going, man, I just can't get my husband to like have any friends. So you might have to give him a little nudge, but even if he just comes every once in a while and there's like because that was us, like our first big thing together was so many years ago, we went to escape room together.
Yeah.
That was the first time we had
And you have
all
to
of our
bond in a hot
couples.
hurry.
Yeah, you have to bond. And I think it's okay to like have patience with that and it to look different. And so I would say don't look at our friendship or look at the friendships and the couples around you and go, I want it to look like that. That sounds fun. You know, a lot of y'all will comment and go, I want y'all's friendship. Well, you can have aspects of our friendship, but God has created you uniquely and the friends that you're going to have uniquely. So you're going to have this amazing bond with them and this really cool friendship with them. And it's going to look different. And that's okay. So also don't look through like Hallmark lenses thinking it's going to look like ours when it needs to look like what God's created your friendships for. I think that can play a part in it.
I have a question. Okay. Can each of y'all share? What do you think it has been your favorite part of being friends with this group right here?
Oh my goodness.
One of your favorite things about this friendship compared to maybe all the other friendships in the world that we have had and experienced. Like, what is your favorite thing that makes it unique?
I mean, for me, hands down, my favorite thing is that we can just be our true selves with each other. And I mean, that's kind of an obvious thing. You know, we can let down our hair and just be total goofballs.
And sometimes take our hair off.
And sometimes take our hair off, like I did last year. You know, Harriet, may you rest in peace. But more importantly than that, I think y'all know what I'm thinking before I even say it. Like, y'all can tell when something's off with me, and you'll call me out in it or just ask me about it, you know, and y'all just get me. Yeah. And so it's just cool because there's no questions. There's no question of like, okay, is she okay? Like, no, she's not okay. Let's rally around her. You know what I mean? And fight for her. So like, I think that's just super special that,
1000%.
You know, we can just tell that the other is off and we're there. Like, and it's just cool to me. I've never had that in a friendship before. So
I love that.
Yeah. I think it's something special when you can have friends that you know that they will drop whatever they're doing to come serve you. And that you know that you would do the same. And I think that's a level of friendship that not many friendships go to. They don't get to that point. Because I think that friendship is sacrifice. Yeah. Friendship is not just all fun and games. Y'all might see on Instagram and think that's all we do is laugh and goof off. And I will say there's probably 75% of the time that is potentially what we're doing. And probably even crazier than we can put on the screen for you.
1000%. Yes.
Yes, that's a true statement. But the other percent is so much of like investing into each other, counseling each other, holding each other accountable, going to each other going, hey, like this, you said this the wrong way. It hurt me, or I disagree with you, or just seeing them struggle in their own areas. And then like Jenna just said, rallying around. So I think it's a lot of sacrifice because a lot of times you're going to pick up and do things that is not in your schedule, you know? So I think if we look at friendship as ministry, I think that there will be better friends.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think something else that I just thought about, you know, when I'm like asking the Lord for something or I'm listening for him to speak, I can be in my head like so much. And I think just having friends who can be there for you and listen to what you're wrestling with in your head. Like, okay, do you think that this is what the Lord meant by this? Do you think that this is what he's speaking to me? And then saying something and then both of their eyes get really, really big and you're like, okay, so that was what the Lord meant by that. Like just the confirmation, because I know these two are seeking the Lord also. And so I know that their opinion is not just an opinion. It's, even if they might have a different opinion, they're going to give me they're going to give me the godly advice, not just their opinion. So I think that's huge too.
Oh my gosh.
What about you, Steph?
I'm thinking too, just about the level of vulnerability that I can have with you two and not feel like you're going to run away or walk away. And I think that's taken me a while to get there because sometimes I'm still like, oh my gosh, you still going to be my friend? Are you still my friend? Even though I did this or said this.
She does still do that.
I do. But y'all continuously, you continually remind me like, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like we're here thick and thin. Like, to know that and to not feel like it's going to go off the rails if I make a mistake or I do something annoying or whatever, that has just been probably the best part of it for me. That it's almost like this security. And I know that the thing I struggle with, I have to have the open hands with friendships because you never know what the Lord's going to ask you to do or if he's going to ask you to move or whatever. Like we live in that tension. Yes. But at the same time, I know that it's not going to be like, oh, you made a mistake, we're out. Yeah. And I think that's just the best thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, and everything else said. What y'all said too, ditto.
And I think like do ministry, like you might not have a podcast or do something like that. So let's just think everyday friends. Like if this podcast wouldn't have come along, to serve with your friend. I have other friends that I've served with, and it does take your friendship to another level. When you serve Jesus together in some way, shape, or form, it really does transform the way you look at them, the way you interact with them, but also you're getting to see them fully in what God has called them to, and vice versa. I don't know. It's just exciting as well. And so I do take it as a true gift and do not take it for granted what we've been able to do together. Because I think all three of us have seen each other grow in so many areas, and we've been through hard and mountaintop seasons. I think another thing I would say is champion each other. We have to champion each other and not be jealous of each other. And I think that's something we have fought through, not with jealousy and I think comparison we've struggled with. And we get in our heads and we forget our identity in moments. So like, let's talk a little bit to that on just how, when that comes up, how do we fight that? How do we fight that internally with Jesus, but also as a group when it happens?
I mean, I would say, like, for me, I better get on my knees and pray. Like, I know that sounds like the super spiritual answer, but if I feel any bit of selfishness or like anything in my mind lies telling me like to compare or anything like that, immediately it's like, okay, this is not of God. And I might even go to my husband and say, hey, I need to flesh this out, my feelings right now. And I know he's going to speak truth into me. So it could even be that you go to your spouse if they're safe, or when you go to your counselor individually and flesh that out. But then to get that out, but also to get it up to the Lord and then to lay it down and say, this is not about me. And I think I have to remind myself of that, like literally go to scripture, literally get on my knees. And then if I need to, bring in like my husband or somebody to chat that.
I like what you just said. Get it out, toss it up, and then lay it down. That was good. I think for me, it's more of like, I just have to remind myself when I do start to compare that God chose me. He chose y'all individually for this ministry, and neither of us will reach somebody the way that the other one will. So we're all going to reach different people in the way that we communicate. And that's what makes it so special. Because if we were all three the same exact person, just robot pastors' wives, then there'd be no excitement. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we would have no relatability.
Yeah,
with
for
people.
sure. So I just have to remind myself that he did choose me, which sometimes is still kind of hard to believe, but just being thankful for that. And then like choosing to lay the pride down of, you can't use me, laying that down and just being open-handed and obedient when he's asking. So
I was just going to say team effort. Like, I think that, especially since we do ministry together and friendship, like I think everything is a team effort. And so if we look at each other as like we're on the same team instead of looking at like what you're doing versus what I'm doing, I think that helps me mentally because he's shown us so many things that we could not do this alone. That it's a little bit easier to like die to self. But like if there are those moments where that our mind or the enemy creeps in and tries to play us against each other, we remember that like, man, I can't do this, but I can do this.
Right.
Like that no position is more important. That nothing we do is like in levels. Like we're on the same playing field and we're, friends together. And even I would say like there are moments when we help each other and the other person doesn't help each other. Like to also be okay with that. I think that's something that could be hard with three people. And I've heard a lot of times it's hard for three people to be because there's always maybe one going, well, they're doing this and I'm not doing that. Like, so I think that's also something to kind of look at, that you can have friends more than just two friends together. You can have a group of friends.
3 or 4.
But you have to be okay with if you're not invited to something or that this person is helping her that, or, does
whatever
that make
it
sense?
is.
Like we can't look at each other as we're against each other and like they're doing more together or she's helping her. I should probably help her,
Yeah, I never want to
Does
be
that
that
make
friend.
sense?
I don't want to be that friend that
Right.
y'all look at each other and be like, "Oh gosh, we can't do that," or
Right.
"We need to invite Stephanie." Like, I never want to feel like I have that you have to invite me. Like, I never want you to feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, because to me, that is super unhealthy.
Right,
You're right.
for sure.
It doesn't work. It
Well,
doesn't
and I
work.
think like what we've done from the beginning is we just tell each other, like if we're with each other, like if someone calls and we're like, yeah, I'm with Jenna, we're working today, or I'm with Stephanie, or whatever.
Right.
And we just make everything very fluid, that it's just normal conversation.
Right.
So I would say like, just don't hold secrets as well as friends, is to just keep everything in the light,
Right.
because you're not doing anything wrong. So
Right.
just remember that. Like, I think we can lean to people pleasing and can lean to not wanting to hurt feelings. But I think like in the big scheme of life, like girls have done a really bad job of this. And it started because we learned it when we were in middle school and high
That's
school
so
and
true.
on the playground. And, and a lot of us never grew up.
And don't get us wrong here. Don't get us wrong. Like,
Get us wrong.
we have been there before where people have purposely left us out. We get that is also a thing.
Yeah.
And
100%.
that may not be your people.
Yeah.
You know, it may be time to let them go, and that's okay. But I know that when you're in a healthy space with friends, there are times that you're not all going to be together.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think that's
It is
good.
what it is.
And I think like one more thing is, I think a lot of times when we're at retreats or DMs that we get, or just friends that we have go, I am too busy to invest in friends or to have friends. And that's a flat out lie. Do you hear me?
If you're too busy for friends, you're just too busy.
Yeah, you're just too busy. Like God created us. We are relational beings. And that's not just with our spouse. That's not just with our kids.
Right.
We need other people in our lives to invest into. But here's the thing. A lot of times we say we're too busy, but if you think of it, how many hours did you spend on your phone scrolling TikTok? How many hours have you spent watching Netflix? Turn off
reading a
Netflix
book
or
or
reading
whatever,
a book
like,
or whatever. Like, turn off those things. Shut the book for a minute, unless it's the Bible. Keep reading the Bible.
Just keep being with Jesus.
Okay, keep being with Jesus. But other than that, like, you can put that down and text some friends. Text them and say, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Just
when
thinking
can we
about
go
you.
get coffee? Just thinking about you. I think that that's one thing that I truly am grateful for, is that even though I think all three of us have very busy lives, somehow we see each other a whole lot.
I mean, yes, obviously we're having work days like this.
For
but
them to know, in this era of our life, we podcast once a week.
Yeah.
So we
And do
still
a lot
have
in one day.
We still have 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like on most weeks, we still are communicating,
Oh, yeah.
friendship wise, or seeing each
yeah.
other. So like
sending funny memes, all the things.
Going to hang out random times at 9:30 at night when someone needs to play spades. Like we do that. So how can we be better? Let's kind of talk on, even when we're tired,
Making the effort.
how can we be better at making the effort? What works for you in y'all's busy lives?
I think you said it. Well, a couple of things. I think when I think of a friend, I text that friend, and it could be just something small. And I'm not saying just to set up a time to get together, but just more like, hey, I was thinking about you. I remember, such and such happened. How's that going? Or Marco Polo is my friend. It's that video app. And so I will send videos while I'm doing other things to friends that aren't like close by, that I want to keep relationships with. So while I'm like cooking, while I was gardening, while I'm whatever, if I don't have to use my complete brain power while I'm doing it, I'm cleaning or whatever, I can get on and just spend time with someone virtually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like things like that, that's one side of it.
And if you are super busy, like a lot of us are, and you start to think about all of the things when you lay down to go to bed at night, like I do, like all the things you have to do and all the people that you haven't texted this week or whatever it may be, y'all, the send later feature in the text message app has literally been a game changer for me. I'm not even kidding. I will start to think about people that I haven't spoken to, and I will text them immediately right then, and I will hit send later for the next day, so that I know that it's going to be sent to them. And then sometimes you just do have to put it on your calendar. One thing that I always do, like I have a friend who I text her every single year on the death date of her mom passing away, because like I know that day is going to be hard for her. And I know that my brain will not be able to remember that date. So I put it on my calendar because I want to text her that day.
Yeah.
I want to remember that.
Yeah.
And so I think if you are a calendar human like I am, and it helps you, put it on your calendar. Make it a reminder, to text somebody.
Or even like to get together, say, I am purposely right now looking at next month, and this day is a friend day, and I'm going to get some friends together.
Yes. Block it out on your calendar. Sometimes you have to do it. So,
And also be the one to like start the party, dude. Like, even if you're
dude.
not, I don't know. I went,
dude.
dude. I think I was like ready for the
Surf's up,
summer. So, like if nothing's happening and no one's talking, like just get a group of women together. Just like have fun, hang out. Yeah, you don't want to be the person that's always doing it, but if nothing's happening, just do it. If you're missing it and you're in need of it, make it happen.
You see the need,
Yeah,
it's probably
that's
your
right.
turn to reach out.
Amen. Praise the Lord. Well, I'm grateful for y'all.
I'm grateful for
I love
y'all.
y'all. I love y'all super much.
Let's give a hug before we leave for the summer.
We love you. We love each other.
Yes, we love all the people. You're welcome on YouTube.
You're welcome for that.
And you know what?
Guys,
we do
it's
have
summer.
It's summer, and we have bonus episodes coming in June and July, so you will get one in each month. But other than that, we're taking off for a bit.
Yes, we are.
So
we'll be
peace
back.
out until the next season.
Peace out. Okay, friends, if you have enjoyed this episode as much as we have, please help us spread the word on Facebook and Instagram.
If you didn't know yet, Instagram is where all the fun is at. From dance reels on Wednesdays to spiritual encouragement and laugh out loud posts in between, there is something for everyone.
And last but certainly not least, if you could take a moment right now to stop what you're doing and give us a rating and review, even subscribe to our podcast, this seriously helps other people find us who wouldn't be able to otherwise. Thank you so much for your love and support. We hope you'll tune in next week.